Welcome. In this video, we will discuss digital surveillance and why it is such a pressing issue for us today in the digital sphere. Digital surveillance refers to the monitoring and collection of data relating to one's online activities. As such, it does relate to some of the other topics we will discuss, including privacy and security. But in this video and with this topic, we're specifically looking at the role of the one doing the surveilling, their motivations for monitoring the behavior of others, what they may do with this information, and how it impacts us as the users of various systems. We might think of digital surveillance through the lens of a duality. That duality being ways that individuals who engage in digital surveillance may explain, justify their actions. On one hand, we have the perspective of protecting people. When we engage in digital surveillance, we can monitor and identify bad actors online. Through monitoring this behavior, we can prevent potentially cyber attacks, phishing attempts, malicious behavior, cyberbullying. And through those means, we are protecting individuals from harm in the online environment, which sounds in many ways to be a positive. On the other hand, digital surveillance can also be used to enforce certain behavior online. So we see in many countries around the world and in some areas of even countries like the United States that digital surveillance may be used to enforce certain behavior, to track who is using a certain website, to um, monitor who is using what systems when, how people are engaging with each other online, what people are posting on social media. And these activities are with the intent not necessarily to protect people, but to uh, enforce a certain way of behaving, potentially discourage people from using certain websites, accessing certain information, sharing certain things. And this is very much the opposite or polarity of protecting people. So you could see individuals justifying their choice to be involved in surveillance through the desire to protect people. There may be others who are involved for the sake of trying to control what other people are accessing and interacting with online. Let's talk briefly about how some of these new emerging technologies are monitoring us and some of the considerations we should have when using these tools. It's important to note that large language models, both the prompts that you enter and the outputs that they generate, can be subpoenaed in lawsuits, in legal cases. And there are many prominent cases in recent months where that has indeed occurred. So your chats with ChatGPT are not private. They can be brought up in legal cases, legal matters, criminal cases, and used against you. Fitness trackers and smartphones, those have been around for many years, and many do know that they collect this data, location and activity data about you, but many still do not. And so, an important aspect of cyber ethics and of digital surveillance is simply to educate and inform others about information that's already out there, about risks online that they may not be aware of. And then lastly, here we'll talk briefly about voice assistants, things like Siri and Alexa. and the fact that they can record and store your audio, and that may be used by the company that owns these devices, that's created these devices for the purposes of improving resources, improving the services provided to you, or they could potentially be subpoenaed and used against you as well, or just simply accessed by bad actors that would want to use it against you. So, this has been a brief introduction to digital surveillance. In the description, I linked to two articles. We have an article from SolarWinds, and this is talking about network monitoring, what network monitoring is, what risks it brings to you, potentially some ways to circumvent some monitoring online. In addition, I am including an article on the ethics of monitoring computer use at schools and workplaces. So, this is a specific context and a specific type of monitoring that occurs with individuals' permission, um, well, innately through their agreement to attend school and have a job. They are coming into this workplace and they are aware that this monitoring may occur. But if we look into that, if we really ponder that, what are some of the ethical issues about the fact that your employer or your teacher, your school administrators could be aware of everything you're doing online? And is that right and proper in the world? So these are just a few resources for you. I hope you'll take the time to review them. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next recording.